Hello everybody and welcome to another Mystery Box Function Challenge. In the purple box there is some mystery math and your challenge is to figure out what it is. You can use the link in the description to try this out, and when you think you've got an idea, come on back, see if we get the same thing. Okay, let's begin with a 0. Alright, so here goes this 1.5. How about a 1? This is 2. How about a 2? 2 is giving us a negative infinity error. So when we get that infinity error, usually I'm thinking in the realm of rational functions. It's possible it's something else, but that's what I'm thinking right now. Let's try a few more points here. Okay, so 3 gives us 0, and we've jumped quite a ways, but that makes sense because that at 2 you've got what should be an asymptote. And actually, I'm going to do something closer to 2. So I'm going to do 1.5. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to do maybe 2.1. Aha. So it goes up on the left and down on the right, but approaching that 2, x equals 2 as an asymptote. So I'm guessing that if this is a rational function that on the left, we're going to have an arm that kind of trails out and approaches an asymptote. The asymptote's not the x-axis, though, because we've got a point right on the x-axis. So maybe it's the line y equals 1. Let's try a few points out in the negatives. Let's do maybe -5. Yeah, and that appears to be approaching that line of y equals 1. Let's try on the right here. So let's maybe do a 5 there. Maybe a 9. Okay, so I think we can see the general shape of this. You've got an arm like this and an arm like this. So I think it is this typical rational function of x on the bottom. There might be an x on the top in this case too. And the reason I say that is because the asymptote, the horizontal asymptote is not the x-axis. It's this line y equals 1. When you get a horizontal asymptote like that, that's not the y-axis. It's the ratio of the coefficients of the highest terms on each, the top and the bottom. So you might have x over x, and there's plus or minus something here, and this would be a ratio of 1. The coefficient of x here on both of these is 1. 1 over 1 equals 1. That would give you this line as an asymptote y equals 1. There could be other things. It could be 2x over 2x, 3x over 3x, or x squared over x squared. So it's hard to know. This is the simplest thing it could be. So I'm going to start there. And then we have this other key piece of information right here, which is the vertical asymptote. And that is at the line x equals 2. How do you get the bottom of the fraction to be 0 when x equals 2? If I put a 2 in here, I would just have to subtract that away, and that would blow up the function when you plug in a 2. So that looks good. The only thing I don't know, well, let's see if it's just x over x minus 2 by putting in, let's say, the point 1. And if I put in 1, I'd get 1 over 1 minus 2. That would be a -1. I don't get that. So when I put in a 1, I get a 2. How am I going to get a 2? Um, that is an odd one. What if you put in a -3 here? Now we put in a 1. So let me write this out. I've got 1 minus 3 and 1 minus 2. 1 minus 3 is going to be -2, and 1 minus 2 is -1. A negative over negative is a +2. So that would make it work out there. And I'm just doing this by trial and error here, trying to guess these. I found at one point that looked easy and made it work out. Does this work with the others? If I put in a 3, yeah, 3 works because you're going to get a 0 on the top. Let's see, what's another good point to try? Well, let's try this 5 because we're getting, it looks like 2/3 there. So let's try a 5. So 5 minus 3 over 5 minus 2 Oh yeah, and that is 2/3, and that's what we're getting at 5. I think we got this. So our function here is x minus 3 over x minus 2. Let's take a look. There it is, and we can go ahead and graph that. Yeah, and you see those typical arms of that 1 over x function just shifted over so that our asymptote, our vertical asymptote's at 2. That happened because of the minus 2 on the bottom. And of course, shifted up because we've got an x on the top and an x on the bottom. And that line, y equals 1, comes from that ratio of the coefficients. Whew. Well, that was a lot of work. How did that go for you? Let me know. Thanks, everybody.